Welcome back, everybody, to Goodwill Podcasting with Dan and Stone, your movie podcast that today is talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 2, where fantasy and fun come to life. That is the slogan of Freddy Fazbear's there. Yes, FNAF 2 to the cool kids out there. Yes, I do know the terminology. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, they're all back on the big screen along with their toy versions, Hardy Heart Heart. It's been 2 years since the first film, and we are here to talk about that film, the follow-up, and the fandom with a new guest that we've never had on the podcast before, and hopefully now a dear friend of ours. This is Mr. 3C Films, Chris Parker. Welcome to Goodwill Podcasting.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I just noticed you guys have your name and your handles, and I just put my handle. I feel like the
No worries.
That's good.
No worries.
But thanks for
All
having me
right.
on, man. I appreciate it. I right up front want to disclaim I know a bit of Five Nights, but I'm not like a diehard lore expert. There's a spectrum to this, and I would say I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay. I was going to ask you because people might also know you as the popcorn bucket guy, which applaud the dedication.
That life just found me. I will say I think this will be the last year I do it because it's just so oversaturated. It's not even gotten fun anymore, and almost every movie has a bucket now. I couldn't even keep up. But when I started this like collecting thing, it was like 2 years ago, and a total of like 7 movies had unique buckets. Now it's outrageous.
Every single one.
Yeah.
And I feel like they charge like a crazy amount for some of those too.
$60 for this is crazy.
Yeah.
I would not be doing this if the return on the TikTok videos weren't, good.
Yeah. Understood.
I'm surprised they don't even just send it to you for free. Like you actually go out and
I had
you said
a
with the
couple of
Fandango,
times.
you bought a ticket.
Yeah, I've had a couple that AMC and Cinemark have been nice, but the caveat with that is, funny enough, I can't be too honest on what I say. Not that they ask like be only good, but it's like, well, they sent it to me for free, and sometimes they put a disclosure because I do like multiple buckets in one video, like only show a Cinemark bucket, and I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of just stopped taking the free ones. I was like, I'll just go to my local theater and grab them.
More fun.
Be a hell of a tax write-off at the end of the year too. Jeez.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
I was saying, that's when we were talking about how much you knew about the lore. That's why. So I did my little bit of research, having our guest on, and I saw that you posted 2 reviews, one non-spoiler, one spoiler. I didn't check those out because I don't want to know. I don't even know Dan's thoughts on the movie. Now he did text me some choice words, but I don't know his full thoughts on the film. But when you were reviewing your buckets, I did watch that video. I thought maybe you knew a little bit about the games because when you reviewed that bucket behind you, you said that when you take off the face as a strap there, and that's a callback to the second game.
Yeah, in the second game, they throw in that mechanic and they implement it into the movie, as you saw, where in that the toys have like a facial recognition. And so if you put on a mask, they think you're an animatronic. And if you take that off, they're like, oh, it's a person. I got to get rid of them. And that's something that we'll come to explain. That's a thing that's like fun in the game and makes sense in a video game. And you think that'll apply well in a movie, and then sometimes it just comes off a little goofy. Josh Hutcherson with a giant mask, just
yeah.
I will say too is that I have to publicly come out and say I was wrong, and I put out a video yesterday, and I should have done this. I thought this movie was going to make way less money than it did. The projections came out and they're saying, 43, 45 million. Yesterday, they're like, okay, it's going to make 50 million, which is what I talked about because I thought that was a big deal. Last one made 78 million. Now the comments did come a call in. And the thing is I was trying to like warn Five Nights at Freddy's fans, like, hey, this isn't good. We don't want to see this. Maybe the movies objectively should be a little bit better. That way more people come and see it, because it doesn't look like as many people are coming to see this film as they did the first one. But $63 million, I think, opening weekend. And a lot of people said, I mean, the first one came out around Halloween. Yeah. So it's pretty big. It's pretty big for this movie to make that money around Christmas time,
Yeah, I was fascinated by that. That was the thing I was most interested to see about the box office return with this one, because the first one also had a unique situation where they did the day and date release, where even at that time, by the time that movie came out, no studio was doing it anymore, but Universal and Blumhouse were still like, well, we'll release the movie and on Peacock the same day. I think that showed you the faith they had in that movie, and they didn't know how big the fan base would actually show up. And so the second movie, they didn't do that, and they just released it, and still pretty surprised. 63 is not a bad number, and given their budget was I think 36 million.
Yeah.
They are close to double their budget in just domestic. They're making that third movie. Beyond that, who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, it was classified as the biggest opening ever for a post-Thanksgiving theatrical release. It's
Wow.
the biggest December horror opening of all time. Um, Biggest
That's
opening for a
crazy.
PG-13 horror film in 2025, and the second largest horror opening of 2025 behind Conjuring Last Rites. Um,
As two guys who maybe aren't as big on the IP, does it surprise you to see the fan base can hold its own that much, or do you like? I figured
Not
with
really.
not
I feel like
really.
with how many, I feel like I see a lot of people talking about it, and I feel like it gets a lot of buzz, and I've seen people really put a cape on for this thing. We'll talk about that, but it doesn't surprise me, I would say.
Oh wow.
I genuinely think that they can make these movies for a long time, because the quality is very subjective when it comes to this movie, but it seems like the fans don't necessarily care. They even told me, like, we don't care. We want to see the stuff that they put in this movie, and that's what we
Yeah.
got. And from my research, there's like, I think there's 12 games. There's 23 games if you count
Oh.
DLC packs, and then there's like 30 books. I'm like,
Yep,
that's
there's
a lot. That's a
That's
lot
a
of movie
lot.
there. There's a lot of
Wow.
movies. This might be your new favorite franchise, Dan.
Yes. Talk about this when I'm 60 years old.
I also think it's funny because I think the only other franchise that's been like critic proof, where the reviews don't really mean one thing way or another when it comes to box office, was like the Transformers franchise. That was like but that was on a much larger scale, where those movies were consistently panned, and like for 5 or at least 4 straight movies, they still made close to a billion or a billion every time.
I would say Fast and Furious to an
Oh, you're
extent,
right.
as well. I think some of those middle movies
It's
were
because
actually pretty well received, like
Mm-hmm.
critically, but
You're right.
later on they started to taper off. But
Mm-hmm.
Transformers, in terms of like straight up like brain rot, just I would say it's a pretty good comp.
Mm-hmm.
say also with that Fast and Furious, those budgets just got way too high, and
Oh
that's why
yeah.
the hilariousness of Vin Diesel taking that one picture and being like on the set of the new Fast and Furious movie, and then everyone's like, that report came out that Universal might not even make it, so they're like, yeah, Vin, you were lying. That was very funny.
Yeah, I mean, if they
But
can make
Dan,
these for like under $50 million, they'll be printing money
Every time.
every
Yep.
time. So yeah.
Agreed.
that's what I'm saying. We're gonna get a lot of these. I'm curious, Dan. We haven't talked about video games too much. What is there a certain video game that you want to be adapted into a movie? Because I mean, obviously, this you got to look at the Super Mario Galaxy. I mean, Super Mario Galaxy is making $1 billion easily next year.
I think
The
so.
Sonic, I think the Sonic movies are getting bigger and bigger. There's like Chris, I think you covered it. They are doing a Sonic 4.
Mhm.
And then they're doing like a Sonic event movie next. They've like dated a Sonic
They-
event movie.
Yeah, they did that. Although I feel like they're reaching their cap on that one. The last one did really well too, but I feel like they're starting to stagger now, where they found their consistent line. I don't know how much bigger they could get, but yeah.
But to answer your question, Stone, I mean, I was in terms of I think it's really hard to find stuff that's really cinematic that lends itself to like that type of storytelling. I was really excited for Assassin's Creed. I think Assassin's Creed gives you so much
Mhm.
flexibility to tell stories set in various times, and I think it shouldn't have been hard to make that a good movie. But I actually never even sat and watched that all the way through. But to answer your question, I was a pretty big I'm a pretty big fan of Overwatch. And I think Overwatch, when you get into the like lore and get into like the story there, it's a good story. And it's a story that I think could be made into a good series and could be a good TV show. And I don't know if they have dabbled with that stuff before, but it's never been like a big thing. So I think that's a game that has a huge fan base still. I mean, at least a decent sized fan base, and there's plenty of story there to tell. I think that could be good.
I'll say I'm going to read off the top 10 movies here. You know what's crazy is I'm looking at, so these are I'm looking at all the video game adaptations that are in works. There's like 30 of them, right? And one that
Damn.
really sticks out to me that I'm surprised that they're still making. I guess I haven't played a game on my phone like as an app in a long time. I'm shocked by the Angry Birds 3 movie that they're still making. I don't know if that still has the fan base
That's
that they think it does.
crazy.
But we got Return to Silent Hill, obviously Super Mario Galaxy, Mortal Kombat 2, Resident Evil, I am excited for that. Street Fighter, Sonic the Hedgehog. So there's like 5 coming out next year, 4 coming out in 2027 with Angry Birds, Sonic the Hedgehog, Legend of Zelda, and Minecraft. Elden Ring, that's Alex Garland directing that, right? Call of Duty, we just got that. Jeez.
Yeah.
The Angry Birds 2 came out in 2019. They spent 65 million and it made 152 million. So can you
Well,
tell me
why?
why they're
Yeah, why they
yes,
decided
yeah.
they're
Like why are they making another one?
it's the I don't
I
even
don't
see it as
know.
a relevant game either, so it's funny
No.
that they
What I'm seeing here is that when it comes to huge, I guess Five Nights at Freddy's is different, but it seems like really big box office might be animated movies for video game adaptations. And when it comes to live action, they more so directed at TV shows, like obviously The Last of Us, Fallout. So I'm curious, like what a movie like Elden Ring, I'm curious what that's going to do and how big of a
Same.
crowd's going to turn out for that.
I think it'll make money.
Same.
I mean, I think it
So
depends on
true.
how much they make it for, but I think it'll make money.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think that these are the new superhero movies, is video games. Like the studios, if Superman didn't make $1 billion, so maybe it is because it's a new universe, new James Gunn project, or maybe it's because people just aren't as interested anymore. They're more so interested in Five Nights at Freddy's too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll say that
But
until Doomsday comes out and it makes $1.5 billion.
That's true.
But
trailers this week. When are you guys seeing Avatar: Fire and Ash?
the 16th, I think.
I got lucky enough to see it already. I'm still under embargo for the 16th, but I mean, I did enjoy it. I got to put out my like social media reaction, so I could say at least that. I did like it, but it felt my biggest complaint is the story felt repetitive to like the last movie. It felt like the most like just kind of straightforward. Where the last couple James Cameron movies have been like really big event things, this one just felt like the most straightforward, going by the numbers kind of sequel for him. I was like, oh, okay.
So is it your least favorite in the franchise?
Honestly, I'd probably still say the first one. I'm not
Okay.
huge on the first one. I thought the second one like really saved it for me, where that opened my eyes to like what this franchise could be. And the third one, especially with like the fire people and the other little things they introduced to like set up for other things, made it interesting enough where I like it at least more than the first one.
Okay.
They didn't play those new trailers for you though, did they?
No,
You
they
haven't seen
never
the
do
Odyssey
these press
trailer?
screenings. They just go, yeah, I
Okay.
wish.
So that's the rumors that Doomsday, Supergirl, obviously Supergirl now with the little teaser that they put
Yeah.
out today, but Doomsday, and then also we're gonna get an Odyssey trailer as well.
Honestly, yeah, it's gonna be a big week.
I'll say it's
Exciting.
funny that we're talking about Avatar a little bit. Dan, I wanted to tell you this before we jumped on, but I can tell you now. Chris, have you ever heard of post-Avatar depression syndrome?
No, actually
Okay.
maybe was it the person who offed themselves because they couldn't live in Pandora? Is that?
It's like a video I'm
Damn.
working on for tomorrow, but basically it's like, yeah, this whole community of people like thousands of people who got super
Wow.
depressed and thought about thoughts like that after watching Avatar because they realized
They can
how
never live there.
terrible our world was compared to that. And they're just like, well,
Wow.
what,
That's horrible.
you know,
Jesus
Yeah, that's
Christ.
horrible. It's interesting.
yeah, they like had psychiatrists come on and they like explained why people are feeling this way and they gave like some validity to it, which is really insane. But
Wow.
I don't know why, but even though I was, let's see here, I was 13 when that movie came out. That's something that I always remember is that people got really depressed after Avatar came out.
Damn.
So you were saying what is your so have you played Five Nights at Freddy's?
Oh, okay. So that's the thing either. I don't like the games at like the actual plain mechanical of the games, not too huge on them. I did play like the first game, but just the point and click mechanic and stuff like that is not I'm more of like a platformer adventure story. The thing that drew me in even before the movies came out was the actual we lost Dan there. Was
He should be
the
coming back.
well was the lore stuff. That's honestly like what really brought me into it because I was a Chuck E. Cheese kid and I was fascinated with that place and animatronics. And so I always think the concept of Five Nights at Freddy's in itself is just a good concept that maybe just got way too chaotic and convoluted with its lore, but just the concept in itself of like animatronics in this pizzeria, kids get killed, things like that. Like that fascinated you, and then you just follow along from there, and you're just like, well, I've stuck with it this far, I might as well keep up with it.
Have you seen Willy's Wonderland,
Oh
Chris?
I knew you were
yes,
going to bring that up.
I actually kind of really enjoy Willy's Wonderland.
I like it too. I feel like, I mean, I think I do think it's a bad movie, and I think
Yeah, I agree.
the downfall is not having Nick Cage speaking. I think is like a
Yeah, that was a
travesty.
choice.
Um, but it's still like that to me is closer to what this should be.
Hmm.
And we'll get into that, but
That one is
Well,
at least an entertaining, fun, kind of straightforward what you expect when you hear haunted Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, right?
yeah,
And the first movie, like when you get to it and the animatronics are building a fort, and that's always I think when the lore kept going on, and then the original animatronics actually became like, I don't want to say heroes, but misunderstood like victims. I feel like it kind of took away with what originally made it scary, which like the idea that these things are after us and now we're befriending them or something. Like that's what I meant. Like as the lore just kept adding on, things just kept feeling like, oh, this is this is getting different than I thought.
yeah.
when you said you played it, did you originally play it when it came out back in 2014, or is it something
Yes,
that
because
you?
it was like an app.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
well, at least the version I played was like the app, like that you could just download and all that. I know there's like computer versions and all that, and so I really did. Like I said, I tried and I was just like, I don't. This doesn't do much for me. The pointing, clicking, and stuff like that. But then it was like the community and the lore videos that I was like, I'll keep up with this and I'll watch other people play it, and that's where I like that's how I would play it, is watching other people more entertaining than me play.
Yeah, this was like the reaction game. Like it was like
Yeah.
this. I remember, being 16, 17 and watching videos of YouTube creators reacting to this game along with this and Until Dawn. Those were like the two
Mm.
games that I remember. Oh, and Slenderman. Like
Yeah, Slenderman
reaction
was
content
big.
back then was like, yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
And I was the same way. I really enjoyed the lore and figuring out everything. But then as I aged out of watching people play video games, which I know is super big still to this day, um, I probably got maybe Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2 and missed the other, I don't know, 21 games that have come out since then, which is
Yeah.
crazy because they're still making them. I mean, what's the guy's
Yeah.
name? Scott Cawthon. They just came out with a new game
It was
this
like
June.
Relic or something. Yeah, it was new.
And something that I've been saying, I said this on my review, is that I think there's this mindset that these are introductions to horror movies. And my pushback with that, meaning that they're more for like kids, like 13,
Mhm.
12, 13, 14, something like that. And my pushback against that, and I said this in my review on TikTok, has been the first game came out in 2014. And I'm assuming that people who played that game back in 2014 are 12, 13, or 14. So the hardcore fans, the first generation fans are like 21 and 22 now. So I don't necessarily understand when the majority, I obviously do think that there's a younger fan base they have released games almost every single year. There's so many of them now.
Yeah.
There is a younger fan base that has come up behind them, but the hardcore fans, the majority of the fans are those original fans who are all in their 20s now. Why are you making not rated R movies for them? Because they can take it.
Yeah.
It's just to make more money, which is the part
And-
that pisses me off. Because like the movies, it actively hurts the movies, but people, like you said, kind of don't seem to care. But I think it could be a better product if they were willing to sacrifice a little bit of box office by going for an R rating.
Yeah, and I know it won't happen, but I like in my mind I'm holding that hope that for the third movie maybe they just say screw it, because I feel like they could still turn a profit. I mean, look at like what, maybe not as big as like the Michael Myers Halloween franchise, but those movies around the same budget per film. I feel like enough people would still go where they could turn a profit if they did that. But yeah, it's like you said, although the fan base was growing up with it since the game started, you would think then they would make it for them. But that kid market who still gets into the game, and even kids nowadays who are getting their first iPad, they'll discover a Five Nights at Freddy's video, even more so watching these movies. Um, they'll get into that. And I mean, like you said, those books that you were talking about, they're not novels. They're not considered Stephen King type books. They're children's books. They're scholastic book fairs. They're the books that they sell at the book fair for the kids in elementary school. They go crazy over, and tons of toys and plushies. So yeah, it's just that market that they've already built into.
And you talking about the fact that these movies also help build that fan base. I have to ask my co-host here, So Dan just watched the first one yesterday, and I saw his letterbox reviews for this one and the sequel for that one and the sequel. And I will say, personally, for me, I don't know how you are, Chris. I like the first one actually a little bit more than the second one,
Okay.
but I want to hear Dan's thoughts on the first one, and then we'll eventually get here into the sequel, which is what people are sticking around for.
Sure. I think I'm trying to put this gently. I just
No.
to me these movies are a lot of missed opportunity, and I think it's kind of a case of like sort of what we're talking about here, where there's like a lack of identity or like a sense of what it actually wants to be. I think
Hmm.
like you sort of mentioned, Chris, like the tone is very strange. Like I think like to start, there's the aspect with the first movie of like nothing really makes sense. And I'm assuming that we're spoiling everything. Like this
Yeah.
this serial killer just got away with all this stuff, just committing murders in whenever he felt like it, and then he takes a job as a headhunter.
Yeah, it's
He's
like
just out in the open,
just
like
so random.
um and then he's sending people to work at the place that he was murdering people at, and I'm assuming multiple of these security guards have died in the past, so they said there's high turnover, so I'm assuming people are
Yeah.
dying there, and then there's no investigation into that, and they just hire
Mhm.
someone else. It's just like it starts off with stuff where I'm just like the basic building blocks of the story don't really make any sense. So, but like once we get into the animatronics and stuff, like you said, they're very friendly and like they are the what's animating them is the spirit of these children that were murdered who were not like inherently evil. They seem like
Yeah.
nice, normal kids when they're presented as ghosts. But then I guess sometimes they're co-opted by the serial killer who is the rabbit, and then they become bad, but they don't realize that he's the person that killed them until they
Yeah.
see a stick figure drawing of him. And I'm just like, I want to be invested in this, I swear to God. But
No, I
like,
get you. It's the same reason, like you were
uh,
saying. Also, Willy's Wonderland is so easy because at least in that universe, the animatronics, those are being possessed by like kid killers,
yeah.
and so it's like it's easy to understand. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, the soul of kid killers is doing that. And yeah, but continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to go.
No, no, no worries at all. I totally agree. And like I think like that to me when I said Willy's Wonderland is kind of what I think this should be. It's like, I don't need everything to be some prestige drama, but just give me like be self-aware. And I think these movies lack self-awareness. Like
Hmm.
the first movie is trying to be this like sort of elevated horror like drama. Like it's trying to
Yeah.
put in these heavy emotional bits about his little brother that got taken and these flashbacks and the dream sequences. And it's just like don't do this. Like just be the goofy, fun movie about that. Like, and then I won't care so much about like stuff that doesn't make sense or the problem with the writing because you're
Yeah.
okay. You're comfortable being what you are. You're not trying to be anything else. Like just make the movie. Um, but then like we kind of touched on because we have the PG-13 rating. You're not really seeing anything. There's no gore, there's no blood. You're not seeing any of the actual violence, but you have these horrifying creatures that kill people in terrible ways. Um, eh, and just like there's one police officer in the story, and she knows everything that's happening here, but just allows it to happen, and then decides
Yeah.
she to switch. It's just I don't know. There's too much going on for me to like really be able to just get invested in and like have fun. Um,
And it's so funny because like what you're witnessing in that like the strangest part to me about as a fan, the movie was originally announced to be with Blumhouse like I forget like 2016 or something like
Like
that.
right after the first, I think it was 2015, right after the game, like the first game came out,
Right
and they were
after
like, "All right,
the
let's do this."
first game, yeah. And the story that you see unfold in that first movie, all those bits and details about William Afton and all that stuff, that all gets like little baby steps in each game. You get pieces of that puzzle throughout each game. So when the movie was announced, they couldn't even make that movie that you see because all
Hmm.
that story hadn't even been unfolded in the games yet. And so you're watching because you're right. When the people first played the first game, they just thought, "Oh, these things are gonna kill us." We don't know why, but they just want to kill us. And it wasn't until like several games later they explained. So it is funny that like what you're watching unfold is like the uncovering of history of like 4 games through little bits that didn't exist when the movie was announced. So it's like it makes you wonder what the movie would have even looked like if
Yeah.
they made it right when they announced it like they were going to, because it took a 7-year process for it to actually get made.
And it looks like originally they had Chris Columbus attached
Yeah.
to make the
Which
movie,
could have
and
been
then
interesting. He was, he did a lot
yeah,
of work on the Gremlins and I did the
I think
first
he
two
would have
Harry
been really good
Potter.
on that.
He would have been
At least
interesting.
the production design would have been. I mean, he knows how to use that. And like you said, Gremlins. I mean, I said that in my review. Actually, I referenced that movie because I think that's like a perfect blend of like some pretty scary sequences, at least for children. Like that feels like a gateway horror movie. But then it also
Yeah.
has like a lot of comedy in it too. So like imagine if Five Nights at Freddy's like had the same feeling and it wasn't trying to take itself as seriously and it was more like Gremlins. I think that would just be such a fun time. It's funny you said that, Dan, though, because I revisited the first one as well. Even though I don't think they should go as serious with the plot, I at least think that what they're trying to do with the main character Mike and his backstory, at least it seems coherent and I'm following it
Mhm.
and his like motivations somewhat make a lot of sense to me. Now, nothing with the main draw of this movie, Freddy Fazbear place. None of that makes sense. But what Josh Hutcherson is doing, I was like, okay, I can get on board with this. This is kind of interesting. That's where the second one falls off for me, is the story's all over the place. But Chris, what do you think about the first movie?
The first movie I like it like fine, and like it like to me it was almost just like an achievement that it actually got made because of how long. But at the end I thought it was just fine. There were some things in there like you said, the tone was like a little all over the place, where it's like, are they trying to be the melodrama? Are they trying to have fun with it? Definitely needed more Matthew Lillard. I just and the second movie even has the same issue where they introduce a mystery character in the beginning, nowhere in the presence in the entire middle of the movie, and then they show up at the end for the big reveal, when it's like that's not how a reveal works. You gotta have that person lurking in the background. So it's fine. Funny enough, I do think in the second one, at least from my perspective as a fan, it felt like they had a little bit more poking fun at themselves, where they were trying to do stuff like there's one scene where Mike is about to recreate how you play the game, where you're in the office and he says like twice like, how's there not a door there? Why wouldn't there be? How wouldn't they build a door there? Or other little things like that, where it's like, okay, they're trying to like poke fun at it, but I get
I
they still kept it pretty serious.
and I think I felt with the second movie like some of that stuff was almost done. There's a term for it that I'm not gonna like sit here and think about. I can't remember what it is, but like it's when you're writing and you write in, like you get out in front of a criticism from the audience just by
Mm,
having the characters say it. And to me, it felt more like covering its bases than actually being
okay, yeah.
self-aware and but also, and this is something that we can talk about, like I don't think Josh is the right person for this movie. And he plays everything so like he's so serious and so dour and just like he's
Mhm.
it's and I don't know if his heart isn't in it or what, but like the performance to me, I'm just like, this dude is not like
Kind
I
of
feel
just,
like you need more
yeah,
energy in this
I
role
get
to
you.
make it a little more playful and like, have fun with it. I feel like it's partially him, or maybe it's just the writing. I don't know.
I sadly not to get I sadly think a big chunk of it is the writing too, because I think these two movies are also the reason they also took so long is because the creator of the games has what they call in the industry final cut, where like it's not made until he approves it, which is like kind of a rare thing that they give creators because of this specific reason, because they get so picky and all that stuff. But I mean, he's never written a movie. He's never done anything. He's only done the games, but he was given hand to write both the first and the second. And I think you can notice in some of the dialogue, and like you were saying, where maybe it is Josh Hutcherson, but I think a lot of the stuff that is written out is just like it doesn't work the way it's written or intended. Maybe it's good video game dialogue, because like
Yeah,
most video game dialogue is just read, but said out loud or acted in, it's not.
which is what it feels like because most of the dialogue in these movies is like the characters saying what happened, what's going to happen, how they feel, what's going to happen. Like, it's just it's a exactly how, like, it's all so on the nose, and it's just like, especially with the kids, I'm just like, kids don't talk like the second movie. There's conversations with kids, but I'm like, this was written by a 60-year-old man. Like, this is not how children.
Yeah,
I
like
forget what she
Abby's
said.
classmate or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
like
like,
yeah, the
are you guys
conversations they would have. I
okay?
get you.
Like,
Yeah, I get you.
but I think that's what you're saying. It's just like he's not a screenwriter. Like, it's just, and that's okay. And like, obviously this person's very creative and talented and like made this whole world, which is amazing. But like, I think sometimes you can have too much control over your baby, right? You can over
Yeah,
parent, and like you got to just let the writers write sometimes. I think, I don't know.
yeah.
I think I
Because
remember
I
I
would.
texted you that, Dan.
Yeah.
Is that I wish he wasn't the only writer on this. He's the
Yeah,
only writer on the second one, which is why I
second
have
one.
an
Yeah,
issue big time with the
Mhm.
second one.
Yeah, and I was even seeing fans of the franchise be like, "Scott, I love you, but get a co-writer or let someone else handle this one." And like, so there's some fans that are just as self-aware that are like, "Dude, I enjoyed it, but I get why people didn't like it." Like, and
yeah,
that's honestly my stance. Like, I was entertained watching it to see some things that I know happen. It is a jingly key thing, or just like, oh, look at that. And I'm totally aware if I did not know anything, I would just be like, oh, this is not for me. Like, so disconnected. Because like I said in my review, watching this movie is just like watching your two friends laugh about an inside joke. It's just like, oh, they're having a great time. I wish I knew what that was about. And that's just how I imagine a lot of like people go into the movie, is like they're watching an inside joke play out that they're not a part of.
So I guess we
yeah.
can like transition a little bit into the second one. I'll read a little synopsis here as we just talked about the first one. So it's 1 year after the first one. Mike has kept the truth from his 11-year-old sister Abby concerning the fate of her animatronic friends. When Abby sneaks out to reconnect with Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, she sets into motion a terrifying series of events that reveals dark secrets about the true origin of Freddy's. Now, I did not read that beforehand. That's not what really happens in the movie, in my opinion. We won't get into spoilers just yet, but one big issue that I have, I guess I'll go first. Chris, I know you've made 2 videos about this, so I'm sure you're even tired
No,
of
you're good.
talk,
No, go ahead.
talking about this movie. We didn't mention, Dan mentioned her a little bit, and as soon as he mentioned her, just like a little creak in my neck, I was like, I don't like that character. I think the Vanessa character, the police officer, is terrible. When she is introduced in the first movie, nothing she does makes sense. She's not interesting. I don't understand why she's just allowed all this to happen. And it's funny because this necessarily isn't a spoiler. It's how the story goes. Is this movie is her dealing with the drama and the trauma of her father from the first film and the acts that he has done, and still being haunted by that. But then the movie kind of sways away from that, and it doesn't necessarily know what it wants to be about. It does talk about Abby a little bit and her being sad about losing her ghost friends. And they try to insinuate that maybe something is happening with Mike and Vanessa relationship wise. First of all, zero sexual chemistry or any chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah.
They don't even
Terrible.
seem like they're friends, man. He's so
No,
mean. He's so mean to her. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird subplot. This is why fans have seen it in the trailer, so I don't think this is a spoiler. You get Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria in this movie, which is the original location. I do know that lore. I watched a 10-minute lore breakdown of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I got that. And that is where the plot of this movie really takes off from. So it's not necessarily what that synopsis said, and it's like Abby going back and trying to revisit her friends at the other location that was in the first film.
Yeah.
This whole thing is happening at the pizzeria all by itself and really has nothing to do with the characters. They get kind of pulled into it, which is a little like this pizzeria is literally trying to make the characters come this way, which I don't necessarily know how the power dynamics work there. Let me see my positives. I had 3 positives. Hold on. And a lot of negatives. 3 positives. I like seeing Wayne Knight. I don't feel like I see a lot of Wayne Knight in movies nowadays.
Yeah.
I've always liked him. I thought he was well cast in this, rather than anyone else. I don't know why Megan Fox. I mean, I do know why Megan Fox was cast in this, but she had a lot of speaking roles, and I'm surprised I didn't see more fans talk about the fact that Matt Pat, which I believe huge YouTuber, a lot of people obviously in the fandom know who he is. He voiced, I believe, Toy Bonnie, but Toy Bonnie barely got any speaking lines, and Megan Fox got everything, so that was baffling. animatronics and production design. I mean, I will always compliment these. The pizzeria is a lot more fun of a location for stuff to happen. Now, people fall in the water, and I'm like, how about you get out of the water because something's coming at you in the water? But I had to shut my brain off for that. But here's my negatives. The motivations of the villain in this movie don't necessarily make sense. I don't know if it's spoilers because I don't know what is part of the lore, what's not, but she has a certain demographic of, they have a certain demographic of people that they're trying to attack, it looks like, and trying to harm in the world because of what has happened to them in the past, that we get in a flashback at the very beginning. But this person who is the villain, she has a familial person who cares about her, who is part of this demographic. I'm being so vague, but the villain's motivation still makes sense. I'll just leave it at that. We could get into spoilers later. The ending is so bizarre. We'll talk about that later. Like I said, the relationships between the two leads is strange. I don't like Vanessa. And then I was really disappointed. I'm surprised I didn't see more people talk about this. There's two huge characters. There's three really from the game lore that are in this movie, and all three of them barely have any screen time. And I'm shocked more fans aren't upset about that, because I feel like that would be the Easter eggs that you really want. And that's obviously Matthew Lillard from the first movie, who plays William Afton. Skeet Ulrich plays Henry Emily. Which is a cool last name. I never heard Emily as a last name before. He's also in this movie. And then we have Freddy Carter. I won't necessarily say who he plays because I think that's a little bit of a spoiler. But all three of those guys play huge people from the game, and collectively their screen time is probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm so shocked that more fans aren't bothered with that, because I feel like that's what they want. But I guess they want to see, because Josh Hutcherson and the other actress, Vanessa, Elizabeth Lale, they're original characters. Now they do retcon. Yeah, they're original characters, but now she's a new daughter of William Afton, which we find out in the first movie. They're not interesting. And the people who are interesting, which is shocking because I'm saying this because I don't know the lore. I think I want to learn more. I want more Matthew Lillard. I want more of all these guys from the actual Five Nights at Freddy's games, and they're just not giving it to us. So that's all I'll say. That was a lot, but just baffling choices all around, personally, for me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with the cast too. Like Freddie Carter, I thought he was good. Did you guys ever watch the show Shadow and Bone?
No.
I watched the first season. I did.
He's good in that. I think he's like a solid actor.
He was good in this.
Yeah.
For his 4 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a strange movie. Chris, do you feel like what do you feel separates this movie from the first movie in terms, like, what do you think they were trying to do? Like, what direction do you think they were trying to take it? Like,
the biggest takeaway is just like the bigger dedication to the budget. I mean, it literally tripled the amount of animatronics you saw. It did also include, I think, like a big complaint fans had of the original, which is like a thing in the games, is like the jump scares. It's like the whole point is you're playing game, clicking, and then things pop up and scare. And you can notice a notable difference in whether you thought they were good or cheap jump scares. It was a lot of loud, in your face things going on, stuff like that. But I think it was just stuff like, it was a lot of just fan service moments, back to back to back references. It was a fan service movie mainly, and that was my thing I was curious about, because I can look at it with a critical mindset and realize, like, understand why not, and I could see what the fans get out of it. And so when the first movie came out, and it seemed like the biggest thing is, like, it just does not seem friendly to those who don't know anything about the games. And if they continue down this path, that's fine. You're going to keep servicing just the fans, but realize that's still going to be a nicher and small audience. I think you should go more broad or general so that anybody going in can enjoy this. So I think with this movie, they just made their stance. It's like, well, fan base is big enough to, I guess, uphold the franchise box office wise, so they'll just keep doing that. Is what it felt like.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, it made money, so Scott's going to be the only writer on the next movie. They're going to have the same director.
We'll see.
Just There's so many more games and books to dip their toes in.
I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how quickly they come with the next one.
2 years.
Um,
Oh yeah, 2 years. I think it's gonna be a quick turnaround. Also,
Yep.
there.
hmm
Yeah.
Just use the same sets too. I mean, they can honestly pump out one of these a year. I mean, I feel like their cast really isn't booked and busy too much. Matthew Lillard's got a couple projects in the works, but I mean, he's only in
Yeah.
this movie. Not a whole lot. Not in this movie a whole lot, which was disappointing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I will say I do think in this movie they try to like. It feels like it kind of pulls in bits and pieces of other kind of stereotypical boilerplate horror imagery and moments. Like it's kind of
Mhm.
trying to piece them together, and we get a lot more time outside of the actual place. So there's um, more opportunities to do different things. But the one thing I find baffling about these movies is like, especially in this movie, these things are so big. They are so loud. They are so slow. This thing sounds like fucking Godzilla coming from
Yeah.
a mile away. You can hear it. And
Yeah.
then
The
they're
thumping.
just
Yeah.
like they teleport and they're just there. And I'm like, you got a stealth mode or something? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
It
yeah, I
is
said the same
funny.
thing. I don't
Again,
think you saw my review, but I said the same thing.
like I don't
Yeah.
want to think about this shit, but if you make such a big
But that's what
production about,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like I'm
You're
gonna think
exactly
about it.
right.
And like I'm just like, you can just run away. No, these things.
It
Can you run
seems
five
like
miles
it,
an hour? Like,
Yeah, like whenever, well, after one spoils, whenever like a character says attack them, you just think a pushover will like be enough where their weight
or
will just fall.
just run away. Just
Yeah,
simply run
yeah,
away. I don't know.
yeah,
Um, and the like you said, the bear mask thing. I'm just like, why am I afraid of these? Like, if they're fooled that easily, and that's the thing. Like, I just they're so goofy. I think it's hard to take them seriously as like a threat. But again, it is, I guess, for kids. So it's like I don't really know
yeah,
how to be feeling, but I don't know if this is scaring kids in 2025 either. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
Those quiet moment, those loud noises and quiet moments, they still scare people. I hate them, and it's funny too because I criticize
Yeah,
that. But 3C, you're like absolutely right. That is part of the games, which is what I got yelled at. I was like, I
yeah.
hate it when there's just a really loud noise and it scares you. But that's what happens at the games, and people are like, well, they just carried it over from the game, so you can complain all you want, but this is lore accurate.
And yeah, and like that's a double-edged sword because it's like that's a compliment from the fans, but it's also a reason for why like non-audiences wouldn't like it. It's just a lot of like you're right, it's like things that just don't make sense for logical plot and it goes so against it, but that's how it did in the games. It makes sense in the games. It's just like it's not a great excuse to use, I think, but it keeps coming back and trying to think that's people just like seeing the thing they recognize actually brought to life. I mean, it's in a weird way. These are I don't want to say that different, but they're not that different from like when Disney does a live action remake. It's like, oh, the thing that I remember from that,
Yeah,
they did it.
yeah, I agree. Um, I will say, I think like the auditory jump scare thing. I mean, that's not unique to these movies. That's like
No,
it's been in so many horror movies this year. I think to me, it's just like when you can't create any actual atmosphere or tension, you just turn to that, and it's just like anyone can do this. Like literally
yeah,
any person can do that and get people to maybe react. It just I don't know if general audiences find it frustrating too, or if that they find it effective. I don't really know. Um, the one thing, there's some stuff that confused me about this movie.
okay.
So, like in 1982, little girl just gets fucking stabbed to death, right? Stab wounds in her back.
That's what.
And then they said it was an accident. What was the accident? Did she trip and fall into a knife 3 times? Like what
I
happened?
complained
Was there
about
no
that too.
investigation? Like
Yeah, like, and it's funny because I think the opening is my favorite part of this movie. As far as everything goes, the opening was like the best thing. It still
yeah.
has its own issues in there, but I was like, that's like, if anything, I'd rather see a prequel movie of just Matthew Lillard as Yellow Rabbit killing kids, and maybe like a detective gets close on his case or something like that.
There's no detectives in this world. There's just
Oh
one
yeah,
cop. There's one
there's just
cop. It's his daughter.
his
He
daughter.
has a monopoly on the cop world.
It seems like it, but like that was like a because like there is some cool imagery you can do. Like I love seeing him as the rabbit, like the way he walks and leans like that, and the glowing eyes. And they even do like a cool thing with the hallway and like it tilts a little. And I was watching that where it's like, oh, he was like right behind her. What happened? And then she you see her back, and it's got 3 stab wounds. And I'm like, oh, and like that compared to like the last movie where like almost no blood or anything was shown, that actually made me go, okay, they tried something there. And I even like the imagery shot of like the puppet carrying, or like
Yeah.
that to me was like the height of the movies. And then from there, it just kind of like
Right at the
it teetered
beginning.
off
I
pretty
agree. I
quick.
was like, all right, this is a movie. And then I was like, oh, it's not a movie anymore.
And they got that cool score. I think that score they have is cool. The da da da
Yeah.
Yeah.
da. Yeah, that.
Pretty dope.
But you're right. It's like once I sat down and like got home and thought about it, and I was like, the newspaper said it was an accident. What's 3 stab wounds to the back was an accident?
My biggest pet peeve in horror is anytime there's a situation going on where something is happening, something terrible is happening, and usually it's a partner, usually it's like a husband or boyfriend or something, and they do not believe the other person. And I feel like it's a trope that's used so much, and like the entire setup for this movie is this little girl saying that a kid has been abducted at a kid's birthday party, and 3 adults
Uh-huh.
are like,
Like,
"Go away,
leave
little
us-
kid."
That's crazy.
And I understand some people are like, you know, not very nice, but I just that then becomes the entire motivating factor behind this entire movie, and then the motivating factor behind the killing spree of just parents at the end. And I'm just like, could we have not thought of anything a little heftier than this? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're
But
beating around spoilers here. Before we get into those, Chris, is there anything you wanted to say more about the movie? Your thoughts on it? So you've kind of
No,
interjected a little bit.
no, yeah, you're good. You're good. And so, yeah, like the opening, I think was cool. Oh, I will say then, all this aside, as at best as the first 2 movies have been, just seeing what they have set up for the 3rd movie, I am excited for that. And it's funny because I was also going back and reading negative reviews, like 1-star reviews on Letterboxd, and I found a handful that were like 1 star, said, not for me, but bet I will be there for that 3rd movie kind of thing. So I am curious at least to finish this out and see where that goes. And in a weird way, this movie almost felt like it was doing that, like it was getting the pieces in place just to get to where a story that they actually kind of wanted to tell. Because you could say like the plot really didn't feel linear; it felt more like subplots that added up to just something happening at the end, and instead of it all just kind of accumulating.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we can get into it with William or with Mr. Emily. And so this is so what Margaret is the name of the girl who died?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Charlotte,
Sorry.
yeah.
Charlotte. And Mr. Emily is her father, correct?
Yes, father.
Mhm.
And see,
So
that's
this
the
is
thing
what-
where like knowing your homework and doing all that, like you just fill in the gaps, you know who they are, and you're watching it already knowing. And so as a fan, it's like they don't realize that bias or that enhancement when watching a movie, and why the person next to them who just bought a ticket hoping to be entertained and not have to like, do homework before watching a movie would be like, this isn't working. But yeah, in the games, he's like the partner. He helped William Afton like create the pizzeria at the beginning. And in the games, he always suspected something was off about him. Not to the point where he'd go to the cops or like rat him out, but to the point he built a robot, which was the puppet, the marionette, in the games to protect his daughter in case anything does ever happen to her. And
I think my
the
business
movie
partner
doesn't
might be
even.
murdering children. I don't know.
Yeah, might be murdering children. Let me build a robot, not go look for help. But again, I think in a video game you suspend your disbelief more, but in a movie you really can't let that go. You're like, that doesn't make sense, and that's why the daughter like felt like such a connection to the marionette, because like it was almost built for her. But
Okay.
again, the movie doesn't really even explain that, so that's me just filling in my knowledge from the game.
Can I
But yeah,
say
that's a
something really
character.
quick, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just think that's so interesting because like the marionette feels more like a like terrorizing force, negative
Mhm.
force in this movie rather than something that was like constructed from a place of positivity and like trying to help. That's a
Yeah.
strange. That just surprised me that you even said that.
Well, yeah, that's how it was created at first. And you're right, and then once she dies, her soul inhabits the marionette, and so throughout the movie, we're seeing Charlotte's angry soul, and they
Mhm.
say a line in the movie you might maybe missed it, where it's like she's going off of the last feeling she felt before she died, which was betrayal, anger, which was all the
Yeah.
parents not listening to her and all that stuff. So that last feeling she had is what's carrying her on in this haunting thing. Again, that's more stuff that they're doing for the movie. Like even the things where the marionette takes over Abby or McKenna Grace's character, that's brand new for the movie. That doesn't happen in the games. It's
I thought
yeah.
McKenna Grace's inclusion in this movie was so hilarious. I was like, because she's having a big year, and then she's going to be in the new Scream movie, and then she's going to be in the Hunger Games. So I'm like, oh, they're going to really use her. Like they've casted, she's on the press tour with all of them. I'm like, she's going to have a really big role. She's in this movie for like 7 minutes, and it's very hilarious when she does become the Marion
Yeah.
the face on the people. That's not in the games, right? When they like
No,
adopt
that like I said, that's new
marionette.
for the movie. That's not really even something they do in the game.
That was something. And then she just kills her. She was just dead. I was like, oh, because you see her like her body just sitting there when Vanessa's crawling. I think it's Vanessa crawling through the
It's
windows.
it's
Yeah.
it's the guy. He like kicks his way in, and then he just walks past her corpse and like doesn't notice it. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
more people that died,
you
and then just there was no investigation into their death. They're just gone.
Yeah.
there's only one cop.
Godspeed.
Only one cop. Yeah.
Okay, you answered a question that I had, or a problem that I had, Chris, because one thing that really bothered me was that she wants to take revenge on adults, but it seems
Yes.
like her father really cared about her. So I'm like, you did have a very good adult in your life, so why do you hate them? But I guess it is because her last memories before she died, which is very important, and just I guess a throwaway line. I didn't realize how important
Yeah.
it was to like kill all adults. I thought it was parents at
Wasn't
first,
even all
but
adults.
then
I'm pretty sure she went after it was the same people at the pizzeria 20 years ago, is what it seemed like. Whether they were kids or adults now.
oh,
That's
so was
who
Wayne
those
Knight at the pizzeria?
Well, I think Wayne Knight got attacked because he was being mean to Abby, and that triggered a whole like, oh, adults don't listen, adults are foul. So Chica had to protect Abby the way
Okay.
So Wayne wasn't 101, but he was a casualty because he was being mean to Abby, and that's what I guess they're born. They're following the order of the marionette, which is kill a whole adults, I guess. And so he
Okay, but
Yeah,
you
they,
are,
they
yeah, that
kind
makes
of
sense though,
they,
because they go into a house at the very end, so it is the people I think that were mean to her back in
Yeah.
the past. Yeah.
yeah, I think they explain like in terms of the principal or whatever dying, the teacher. I think it's explained in that the marionette has to bond with a living child to be able to leave. So then I guess that's why there's a connection to um,
Abby.
Abby, and that's why it then kills him. But then the rest of them are on like specific like assassination missions for the other parents that were actually there
Yeah,
when
that
she
night.
died in the
Mhm.
80s.
Which I do think, like, even as a fan, is an interesting thing because the whole Michael last. Oh, well, we're in spoilers now, but the reveal then that like it's the brother of Vanessa and he wants to continue his father's work. I found a lot of holes with that because one, he needs like, or the toys, whatever the animatronics need a code to leave the perimeter of the pizzeria because that's how advanced their their pizzeria tech is. They're locked in place in the one spot. And
It's good tech.
Vanessa knew the code, but he didn't, and you would assume he would as well, because I mean, it's his father. I don't know. I had fans telling me, well, in the flashback, William told Vanessa that he's her favorite, and so I was like, oh, so he just tells the codes to his favorite child, I guess. I don't know. It was just like, what was your plan here? Because it seems like the plan that these animatronics are going for go against what your father would want, because um am I making sense? See, I'm like, it's falling apart in my mind.
Yeah.
That's not
No, what you're saying is what confused me about the first movie because it's set up like she feels like she was working almost with her father, like so close to her father,
It
and it's
seemed
like,
like
were
it.
you helping him, or but then you're fighting against it? Like, it feels like she's actively participating in like her father's work when and
Yeah,
allowing these security guards to. die, but then she like takes a liking to him and protects him. Like it doesn't really make much
No, and
sense.
that's why like I totally agree with you on the Vanessa character that they're just like absolutely like because like you said, Vanessa is a brand new character. She doesn't necessarily you can say she's technically a character in the games because she's like inspired by certain ones in the games. Michael has a daughter named Elizabeth, not Vanessa, and then there is like a Vanessa character 7 games down the line. So it's like almost she's like an amalgamation type of thing.
That's
But
so
either way,
strange.
yeah, it is strange that they did
And
that.
then
But
Dan, the main character of that you play at is named Michael. Like I believe, like the guy that
the
you meet, the
yeah.
creepy guy in this, Michael
It's
Afton,
Michael.
the one who's
Yeah.
that's who's actually the main character of the games, which is confusing because Josh Hutcherson character is also named
It's
Mike,
Mike,
but it's
and
not
so
the
Yes.
same Mike.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
noticed
like
that. It's like
yeah, it's
Very
weird that they did
confusing.
that. And so, but what I'm getting at is like, yeah, they make it like so she's a cop, so it seemed like she was covering up her dad's crime, and even in the flashback in the opening, she sees little Charlotte about to go like be with her, and she like grabs her and says, "No, no, no," almost like she's
Mhm.
saying, "Just let what's about to happen happen. Let's go eat cake." And it's what it seemed like, was it not? Like,
no,
because she was like,
exactly. Yeah. She's like, my dad's a serial killer. You don't want to go back there.
and so it's like that could be a cool thing to like explore and flesh out this guilt or maybe this partnership she's had, and it would also make more sense for why at the end Josh is like, stay away from us, we don't want to mess with you or things like that. But it's so wishy-washy where you don't really understand. So are you for him, are you against him, what's going on here?
Yeah, and it's like I think Stone said earlier, you see little bits and pieces. She's having like a full-on psychotic break in spin class and then pulls a fucking gun on the other guy and then just leaves. And I guess no cops get called because she's the cop. Uh just
In
like
this how the one cop.
in the beginning of the first movie, Josh Hutcherson beats the fuck out of some guy in public and then just
Yeah.
doesn't get arrested because
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But she pulls a gun on a guy. I was like, all right, it's definitely not legal, but
I'm trying
she's
to
a cop, so
understand the
it's okay.
motivate. I'm trying to understand the motivations of Michael Afton. So the guy who is already at Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria, the main guy in the games, but not here.
Yeah.
So are they trying to? Because he seems very creepy, like his father, William
Yeah.
Afton. So are they? Is he trying to free Charlotte in a sense, weaponize Charlotte to kill more people? Like he wants all of those the animatronics to be free. Like what is his
Yeah,
like what is he trying?
the
What are they
end goal-
trying to do? Just murder everyone?
because even saying finishing what our dad started, where I'm like, well, what was he starting? It seemed like he was just a killer. Like his end goal didn't go further than I like killing kids and that's what I do. So like what was his end goal? Yeah.
And like
Also, not
when
to be
he
technical-
brings, go ahead, Stone.
I
Sorry.
say not to be technical, but there's only 2 choices in the demographics that you could choose: kids or adults. And unfortunately, the weaponized Charlotte that you're trying to use is killing the demographic that your father's not interested in.
Yeah,
Sorry about it.
Exactly.
So your father doesn't want to kill adults; he wants to kill kids. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and like when he brings the paranormal investigator crew there, and then that all goes down, he literally says like he's like, "Welcome back, Charlotte," or something. So like like that was obviously his plan, and then he just wants the animatronics to leave and then kill people.
I guess, and again, it falls apart.
I feel like he could just go
It's-
be a serial killer and kill people.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
You would think so.
yeah.
it's very interesting. If they're trapped there, right? Is Charlotte also trapped in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria?
Yeah, I don't think just trapped. I think like she was secluded to that box, and you're right.
Okay.
She needed a physical person to be able to do more, which is where McKenna Grace came in, and then eventually Abby and all that. But yeah,
Well, I think it's cheating a little bit if you say that these animatronics are trapped here, possibly including Charlotte, but then Charlotte is able to, I don't know, use her ghost powers to communicate to Abby in that little box and be like, come to the pizzeria. We need your help, girl.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's a little cheating, but I guess
Yeah.
ghost powers, I don't necessarily understand them that much, but
I get, and that's a whole thing in the games too. It's so complicated because
Wait,
There's a
No,
thing
I'm
called
sorry.
like
I'm
yeah.
processing all this.
Yeah.
This makes no sense. Don't the fucking marionettes don't they try to kill Michael immediately after he sets them free? Like, what is his
Oh
plan?
yes, yeah,
Because he runs out and is like,
yeah.
what? I don't know.
That's why it really does not make much sense, and even more so than when the so then they decide to bring back the hero animatronics of the first movie, Avengers
Mhm.
Endgame style. Which, let me tell you, that got a laugh from me. That was the way
That
they set that up.
that's what I want from these movies. Like,
Yes,
that was funny. Like, I like that.
and yeah, fans are eating that up. I'm already seeing like edits and things from people who recorded all that, and but it's just like where does that go? How does that work? These were the villains of the first movie. Now they're the unsung heroes, and then they go on to like, well, this is all we could do. We're gonna die now, and
That was so strange. It's like we can't maintain this form this far away from the establishment. So did they die? Like because
it
the
seemed like it,
animatronics.
yeah.
I guess probably we open up in the third film and they have dragged these giant ass animatronics
Back.
back to Freddy Fazbear so the ghost children can live on in them. They're just trapped forever.
So,
How about we try to free these kids and not use them?
I was
How about we
confused
take the
because
body parts of the children out of the animatronics so they don't have to possess them anymore? Just give them freedom, Abby. If you really care about them, let them
Yeah.
go. You're being
well,
possessive.
didn't they say at the end of the movie we have to go now to heaven or
Yeah.
something? And then they were gone?
Something like
so maybe
that,
they
yeah.
are. I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt
and
it.
then
They'll
that's
come
where I
back.
was like, what was all this? And then they say the line where it's like, well, now we can't hold them. And then Mike's like, who? And then that's it. It's so dumb, but to me, I'm like, well, knowing what they're setting up, I'm like, okay, I do kind of want to see that though, because well, we're in spoilers now, so obviously you guys saw that post credit scene is like the whole thing they're leading up to is finally what they call the Voldemort of the Five Nights of Freddy's, which does happen in the game. So there was William Afton when he was alive and well, killing kids, but then he got trapped in his suit, which terrible. Again, something that maybe makes sense in the games, barely, but in movie it doesn't make sense. Why would you make a suit that has the possibility of killing you and crushing you and
Like,
willingly wear it?
what's the benefit of that? Like,
Yeah.
I think
I
they're a
don't
little
know.
like tricky, but
But then so he dies in the suit, and his like again his ghost spirit now is like the children who have been possessing those suits, and now he's this immortal ghost being inside that they call Springtrap. That's his like that's what he's called at that form. And so he's like said to be like the Voldemort. So he's like the big bad that we've been leading up to. And I'm just looking forward to that because like my favorite thing I've noticed so far is just every time Matthew Lillard is part. It's that scene at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's where he's like beating up Josh Hutcherson in the bunny outfit, the opening of this movie. I'm just like, if it's finally a whole movie with him as the antagonist, even if he's probably just going to end up doing the voice, which will be an easy
yeah.
paycheck for Matthew Lillard because inside there he's just a rotting corpse. So it's not like he's going to take the mask off and reveal himself as William Afton. But I'm like, I
They did
kind of
so
want
much-
to. I just want to see how that goes.
wasn't there 2 end credit scenes?
Yeah. So the other one was like a voice one, which was Henry Emily leaving a voicemail for Mike, where he was just like, "Hey, Mike, just forgot to tell you, I can still track the animatronics. One is active," and I don't know. He cuts off, and it sounds like his daughter went after him or something.
I also was just wondering when the hero animatronics come at the end, do they not have the same system? Like, did the system not have to be deactivated for them to leave the other place? They were just
That's
able to.
all. And even in the games, again, that's something else too, because every game is almost a different pizzeria, and the animatronics
Okay.
are widely different in every pizzeria. Where it's all like, you go to a Chuck E. Cheese, it's the same animatronics every location, but this location they had the toy look, so they looked all plasticky and shiny, and the other one they had that. So the idea is that they each were on a different system. They were on a different mechanical build, whatever that means.
So, are the animatronics always the same for creatures? Just they look
Same
sort
for
of different?
creatures, but different forms. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like what they're called.
Look at Dan
in
getting into the lore. Look at him.
the,
I am curious. I'm always curious, but
Yeah, I was shocked because this really does seem like into the or like across the Spider-Verse like half of an actual movie because with the tease at the end of the first film, I think people probably at the end of the first film thought that Springtrap was gonna be in this movie entirely because that is the end of the first movie is Matthew Lillard getting put in that costume and then you're like, oh, here comes Springtrap, but then
Mhm.
no, it's an entire movie and then you get another tease of Springtrap and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, well.
People are
it's
gonna be worked up into a frenzy by the time that third one comes out.
I'll
but
probably
yeah,
still watch it. Here's the thing: is with the whole Warner Brothers Netflix thing happening, I even though I don't necessarily enjoy these movies, if they're making this much money and there's packed crowds, the same thing with the Minecraft movie. I like my
yeah,
movie theaters. Please respect the movie theater attendance there. Don't make too much of a mess.
yeah,
But no matter what the movie is, no matter the quality of the film, if it's packing out theaters and people are going to see it, and people, even though these are video games, and I'm sure what's his name, Ted Sarandos would be like, oh, people who play Five Nights at Freddy's at home will want to see Five Nights at Freddy's at home. Then when the third one comes out, we should just put this on streaming. I do
yeah,
like that they're putting these movies out in theaters and people are going to go see them. It makes me happy.
yeah. It's interesting. I like it. I'm still happy for like the fans who get out, and it's an event. And like I don't know how your guys' theaters looked when you went to go see them, but I mean, I had a crowd that was clapping, cheering, excited, and I just like even if I realize they're not as good as I would like them to be, because I feel like there is potential that these could actually be palatable for general audiences and enjoyable for fans. At least they're having a good time.
Say what is
Yeah.
you go to a lot of like like big screenings. What has been the loudest the crowd has ever been when it comes to like Easter eggs or
Oh.
like end credit scenes?
Uh,
Because I have a
it was
very
probably like
shocking answer.
it was probably like the Infinity War Endgame era, if I'm being honest with you. I didn't get to attend one of the wild Minecraft screenings, but I can't imagine enjoying a whole movie like that.
No,
As
it's like
fun as
bringing a
that
real
looked.
chicken into the theater and everything.
Yeah, and not for nothing, I did see some TikToks of some people, like maybe not to the Minecraft level, but like getting really into it in some packed theaters, and like that's fun. If you keep it at
Yeah,
a
I saw
nice
like
level, that's
15
fun.
people like dressed up. That's why I said this in my review too. I'm like, I'm happy for people. I'm happy for the fans that this exists. And like, I saw the fans. I saw like 20 people dressed up. And this is when I came to the conclusion that I'm like, but they were all 20 years old. So like, why are you
Yeah.
making this for 10-year-olds when you could be making it for 20-year-olds? But I was going to say, still to this day, even though I literally was at the very first screening of this movie with tons of fans, they were nothing. And it is sad that you mentioned Endgame because I had this whole plan for Endgame when it came out. I bought tickets for my friends, and then the IMAX screen was just not working at the theater that I went to, so we didn't actually get to see it in like a gigantic crowd. We
Mm,
had to see it like 2 hours later on a littler screen, so
uh,
the experience wasn't that great. Sonic 3 was
oh, that was.
wild. I've never heard people scream that loud for a movie. And I don't know, like it was kind of an experience. Just that was more
Yeah,
entertaining than the movie. I like the movie though. It wasn't bad.
I like that. Yeah, that one I liked a lot. But yeah, and honestly, I'll say the Sonic movies are probably a good balance. I'm not saying they're masterpieces, but they're a good balance of general audience can go in one movie, two movie, three movie, have fun without doing homework, and then on the other side, the people who are fans go nuts. I mean, that Shadow backstory and little things in there, moments with the Chaos Emeralds and stuff like that. Like that's stuff that made the fans go crazy. But I could bring my mom to that and she'd like enjoy it for what it is. I don't know if she would like this.
Like it's just so disappointing because like those movies to me, Jim Carrey makes those movies.
Oh, that's
Without Jim
another
Carrey,
thing too.
those
Yeah,
movies wouldn't be as good. It's like what these movies do. I think the Jim Carrey in these movies is Matthew Lillard. What they do with
he could
they
have been. Yeah,
sparingly use him so much. He's like 10 minutes in the first one, like 5 minutes in this one. He's barely, and like you said, the
I
third
don't
one
know
he's
if
probably just going to be like a
yeah,
voice acting. He's barely
and
in
I
these
don't know if it's a
movies.
budget thing or whatnot. Because again, I don't want to be a Quentin Tarantino here because I love Matthew Lillard, but it's like he's not. I can't imagine he's expensive nowadays. So why did they use him like he cost $1 million a minute to be on screen or something? You know?
Because Scott Cawthon's got to get all those Easter eggs in there. You got to see Toy Chica. You got to have more Megan. I think there's more Megan Fox in this movie than
There
is
was a
Matthew
lot of
Lillard.
Toy Chica. I was very
That's
surprised.
very disappointing. Surprising and disappointing. Like I said, not even Matt Pack. She has the most screen time out of any villain. She's got more screen time probably than McKenna Gray's screen time. She's a voice acting.
Voice, yeah.
I do like the voice acting. I think it's fun.
Yeah, she did fine. A lot of people were thinking she was going to do well. I think she did fine. I have seen some fans disappointed with Matt Pats because he did a voice, and like as someone you recognize from voices on YouTube, I guess some people went in hoping to hear like his recognizable, but it's very
that would have
automated.
been so weird. That would have taken.
Yeah, it really would have.
It
really would have.
I mean, Megan Fox just sounds like Megan Fox, but like robotic. She's not doing a voice, I don't think. He was in Mortal Kombat, and people say she just sounded like Megan Fox.
Yeah, they said she was
Kombat.
terrible in that.
Yeah. I think the kids say, I don't know, I've never used this word before. I think you're a gooner for Toy Chica, Dan. I think that's your excuse.
No.
That is what the kids say.
I looked it up and I was like, did they make her look different than her actual design in the games? And it appears like they did not. She looks like that in the game. So I thought maybe
and it's a common joke too that she's like that the 12-year-olds go crazy for, that she's the Lola Bunny for that generation.
I don't see it. It's got to be so real.
See, I'm looking at her designs, and this is like one thing that I wouldn't even notice about this movie, unless you're a fan, is that there's that sequence where she gets into the taxi, and for a moment her face looks different, and like her nose, like
Easter egg
popped off, and her eyes are black. That's like a different look for her. I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah. That
also,
was
to be clear, when they left the place, did the other two walk the entire way to the town?
Yeah. It's actually a week has passed.
A small disappointment I had too is I thought they were going to do something cool with that with the fan festival they were having in the movie. I thought they were building to like a massacre at that thing. I didn't think we were going to see something or like at least one or two people dying there, and I'm like it was honestly ended up being just used as a good way to get the cameos for the FNAF YouTubers, which I no hate to them. That's awesome. They get to be part of that. But
that would have been really cool. That's a really good idea.
It's like I thought they were building up to something there, but they didn't end up using that.
They mentioned it so much, and don't worry about like taking it to this extreme with the massacre. The last two episodes, Zootopia, Dan asked for a societal breakdown of the city, hoping to see something more extreme.
Societal collapse, yeah.
Zoopocalypse. And then the episode before that was Wicked for Good. And I think he said he thought that the wizard should have been decapitated. He says he didn't get punishment enough.
The wizard and Horrible need guillotine, bro. I swear to God.
Man. He gets to
fly away.
He got an easier out than Alphaba, if you think about it. He just
gets to go home.
You don't know if it leads anywhere. Yeah, he got to have a crazy couple of years. Now he just to go back to regular life.
It's whack.
It is weird.
That'll be a spinoff right there. I don't know if it's going to get a spinoff though. It's not making as much money as the first one did.
Oh, but it's still making a lot though, right? I don't know.
First one made 700 million, and this one's going to make like 500 million. So it's still a lot of money, but I'm sure they wanted it to maybe be a little bit more. Zootopia, we're gonna get 3 more. We're gonna movies.
We're gonna get toys. Yeah, we're gonna get a lot.
It's almost at 950 million in 2 weeks. It's 915 right now.
Yeah, and that's
Asia loves Zootopia. China, obviously, but Japan, it's hitting numbers.
That's crazy.
Too. Yeah,
that's good. I mean,
I like those movies better than these ones.
I like those movies a lot, and like
me too.
If a movie is going to succeed like that, that's going to be, some Disney franchise. I'm happy it's at least that.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Dan? Are you going to check out Five Nights at Freddy's 3? If we have Chris back, you're going to have.
Like, I'll watch it. Like, again,
yeah.
There are some changes that can be made to these movies, like that I could really like this. Like, I like goofy shit. Like, if a movie just knows it's goofy and has fun, like I really enjoy that. Like, I would love to see it go really self-aware, like shit posty. I would think that's really funny. Like to me, like, and just a very quick tangent, but Megan, like when Megan is self-aware and not being serious, and like in the first movie when it was goofy, those moments are so funny to me, and like I
Hmm.
loved that aspect of it. But then like some of the first movie and the second movie, it tries to be like a serious drama with like a real story. I'm like, you don't have to do any of this. Just
Yeah,
be fun. And like
entertaining. Yeah.
that's what I would like from these. But yeah, it was an experience.
Did you guys also think that the ending of this was abrupt? I was like, the
Yes,
most
it did
abrupt thing
kind of just
necessarily
random.
wasn't the thing with the marionette. It was, and I think this is the poor writing of Scott. It's just he's not good at creating whatever drama this is. The whole Mike being upset with Vanessa thing is so out of left field to me. He does seem a
It
little bit
He's a
does
upset
dick.
seem.
earlier.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He seems like a dick because I feel like you're supposed to feel like he's supposed to, you as an audience member, you're supposed to feel like his feelings are justified. They're not justified. He
Yeah.
does feel like a dick because it's out of left field. I'm like, what are you talking
Dude, she
about?
almost got
She
murdered
just
helping them.
helped you. She
Yeah.
just helped you. And just to leave it on
Yeah.
that was so wild. It was such an abrupt ending.
Yeah.
Well, he also was like, I'm gonna try to fix you. Like, what?
Oh yeah,
Like the scene on the porch, I'm like, what are you? He's so mean. Like,
I guess they're trying to sway away from him being the main character because I don't know who has the most screen time in this. I guess they're all three main characters. That those two and
Yeah.
Abby. But Josh was definitely the main character of the first one.
Yeah.
And also,
I
like
thought,
I thought they were going to do like the same thing as the first one with the dreams. There was so much such a big emphasis on dreams in the first one and like channeling them and trying to like connect with them. And they do that a little bit at the beginning with Vanessa and her father, but then I feel like they just totally forget about it. I was like, oh, I thought you were going to get in that a little bit more, but
Yep.
yeah.
Part 3 though.
yeah, part 3. I do want, I said this in my review too. I do want them to get to 5 nights of Freddy's. You know, have like the
Oh,
5.
I don't know. I would not be surprised if 3 is like they leave it, even if it makes, because I am seeing you're already seeing a gradual decrease. 80 million first movie, 60 this movie, next movie. Depending on how those trailers and all that looks, if they can pump enough Matthew Lillard, it's probably opening on a 40 opening weekend or something like that. I I I think then that'll be them like, okay, we got what we wanted out of the trilogy. We'll try again in like 5 years or something.
Well, I don't know because I saw a lot of people comment on why this movie didn't do well. And there's 2 reasons that
Mhm.
made sense to me. One is because the first movie had a way better release date. It came out before Halloween, and the
Mhm.
reason why Universal couldn't do that this year was because they had the black phone too.
True.
So they already had a movie. So that the release date could have affected it. And also supporting my evidence of people being 20 years old, being a fan of this franchise, everyone that was commenting on my video is saying it's finals right now. So they're just not
Oh, wow.
going. They're all in college taking finals.
Oh,
So
wow.
I
Didn't
mean,
think about that.
that's a valid excuse. Like I
Yeah.
said, proves the fact that this is an older fan base than what it claims to be. But so I don't know. I has it lost money? I guess we'll see because I'm very much I pay attention to the box office. The drop between the first and the second week last time was very significant. I think it was like 70 in the
Oh, was
maybe
it?
75%. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see what this
so it's
weekend is.
I
very
feel like it's the kind of
very
thing where
heavy
people that
loaded.
really want to see it, they're gonna
Yes.
make time to see it when it comes out because they want to
Yeah.
have the experience. But
Well, maybe not with
We'll
finals.
see.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe with finals done, they'll be like, I have a palate cleanser with Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
You're right.
Great.
And
They
again,
were
not to.
thinking during finals. Now they don't have to think anymore with Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
I also think the release on streaming the same day had a lot to do with that second week drop off because it's like, well, if you didn't go to the theater, it's like, well, then I'll just get Peacock then and watch it at home.
yeah, which sucks.
Yeah.
True. I also made a mistake in my review, or not my review, when I was talking about the box office of this movie. I don't know why I did this, but when, like you were saying earlier, Chris, I guess it was just a way to promote Peacock. But when they released this in theaters and they were also released it on Peacock at the exact same time, it made me think of when Max did that, HBO Max for COVID, and they released their entire slate on HBO Max in the theaters.
That was a wild time.
So in my video, when I was talking about the fact that they did this for Five Nights at Freddy's, I was like, because of the pandemic, because HBO Max is because of the pandemic. And people are like, dude, it was 2023. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I don't know why I didn't connect those dots, but I'll watch the third one.
Yeah.
I'll support theaters.
I have to see it through. I have to see it through. But yeah,
that'd be shocking. we'll see what the fall off is with the box office too. Did Dan on the outline? I put a top 5 arcade games in celebration of Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, is Freddy Fazbear's, is that an arcade?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, you would have to have
Me and Dan were talking about it. There are pinball machines. I don't know what classifies.
Might be
as
like
an
a few
arcade.
games around.
Yeah, I guess a
But-
movie theater has games too. You necessarily wouldn't call that an
Yeah.
arcade. So, Dan,
Well-
did you come up with a top 5 list of your favorite arcade games?
So when I think about arcade games, I don't think so much like I'm thinking about like I would say like stuff like Mortal Kombat, like actual games,
Oh.
like an arcade game.
Yeah, same.
So like
I
Mortal
think it's like a
Kombat,
physical.
Street Fighter, Time Crisis, Pac-Man,
Check.
maybe Donkey Kong.
Yeah. For me, it's like Galaga. I love
Nice.
Galaga. Big Galaga. Contra. I don't know if you Contra. I like the Ninja Turtles. I used to go to a physical arcade and they had like the 4 controllers, so I would have
Yep.
brothers and we'd
Yep.
play that. The Ninja Turtle skating game. There was a Simpsons one too. Where you could skate around as Bart.
My aunt and uncle own that game. It's in their house.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot of fun.
Those are the ones that come to mind when I think arcade games. You have any
You
stuff?
guys are just way different than me. I don't know why. Like, are these not arcade? I wrote them down. Are these not arcade games? Like, okay,
It's just
I
maybe
No, it's
showing our
okay.
age
It's
range. Showing our age, maybe.
well, I haven't even heard them yet. I might be Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have no idea. I said a classic claw machine. I do like me a claw machine. Those are in arcades. I know it's really boring compared to TMNT.
No.
I said skee ball. Classic
Oh, okay.
arcade.
You're
yeah,
going like
uh-huh.
Dave and Buster style games.
Yeah, like skill
Is that
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basketball. I always favor the
Yeah.
basketball.
Pop shop.
A racing simulation game, Mario Kart. It's usually my go-to.
Okay. I like that one.
And then my number one game is something I've just found out the name of this. It's called something called Down the Clown, which is like where you take there's like
ball.
all these clowns popped up and you take balls and you try to like hit them. I'm an addict for that. I'll play it like 15 times in a row.
That's
But
funny.
those are my arcade games that I was thinking of.
Okay,
Dave
wow.
and
Yeah, we
Buster's,
had
yes.
different ideas of arcade games.
Yeah.
Also,
I like
the
Galaga,
game,
though.
the game Crazy Taxi. You ever play that? Your
Okay,
taxi
I heard of
driver?
it.
Sounds
I don't think I
familiar.
played it. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And also, it's just you said racing games. Do you guys ever play the game where it's like the Wave Runner? They're like boats, and you can like build them out, like that racing game.
Oh no,
Not
I
ringing
know
any bells. It's a lot of fun. It's the best one.
Okay. All right.
But
An underrated one too is like when you like talking about racing games, it's like the ones that's like a motorcycle. And they used to have these at Walmart, and they do have it at
Yeah.
some like at movie theaters too. But like you could actually lean on it, and this is
Yeah,
how you,
I like
turn.
those. Yeah.
It's like the Wii before the Wii.
Mhm.
yep.
But yeah, this was fun. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It's a fun man. Imagine how fun this would be if we knew all the lore. We could be like,
Oh, man,
50, the 57 references that were in this movie were insane, bro.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
happy for those
Maybe-
people.
Me too.
Yeah, we should go live streaming and do gaming together. That's what we should do.
That
Five
would be
Nights at
that would be
Freddy's.
something. Yeah.
I tried doing
I'm
that.
mildly curious to play the game and see what it's like. Just out of
Oh yeah,
curiosity.
you could tell me if y'all do like it or not. It just wasn't my cup of tea to play. I understand why some people like it, but I have a lot of respect for the people that can play a game and be entertained at the same time. Because I tried. I can't do that. It's hard. I just play a game with a straight face and get into it. I
Yeah.
can't.
I respect you with I try to do some reactions. It's crazy because reactions get good views sometimes. And it was crazy because I don't really do reactions a whole lot, but I just posted a reaction of like the live action Moana trailer. And I really don't say a thing. I say I'm like, all right, I say, wow, I think the Moana actress, I think she looks really good. Besides that, I say nothing and it's like 2 million views. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I can't do like whole reactions because a lot of
I
people
get
are
you.
just like, I want to watch the trailer. I don't want to listen to you. And I'm like, I totally
Yeah.
get that. I'm not trying to step on your toes here. I wanted to ask you real quick, Chris. I don't know if you've been covering it. I know you haven't been covering it on TikTok, and I know you haven't been putting out videos of it, but maybe on your live streams. Have you been watching Welcome to Derry?
Yeah, I've been watching it. I think I'm an episode behind, but yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think it's good.
It's been getting better. I think the
Yeah.
one episode behind. I know an episode just debuted while we're talking right now.
yeah.
I think the next episode that you're about to watch is probably the best episode, but it's funny because people just want to see Pennywise, and I guess it's a little
That's
spoiler.
kinda
You
how
don't
I
really
was feeling.
see
I think
Pennywise in that next episode, and I think it's the best episode. It's like the most plot, like the plot is really moving forward in that
finally
episode that
moving,
you're about to
yeah.
watch.
I
Yes.
think a lot of reason I'm not so like addicted to it like other people. It's a lot more connected to the Stephen King universe than I thought it would be. You know, with the Shining references, Shawshank stuff, and other little things like that, which I think are cool. Like I like how they're fitting in the Shining stuff into that, but some of it I'm just feeling a little lost.
Yeah. That sums up Five Nights at Freddy's pretty good
No,
right there.
no, I bet that's more. Yeah.
But Chris, I wanted to tell you, man, like I've met you in person. Like you're
Oh man.
just as genuine as you seem on camera and in person, especially
thanks,
with
man.
1:30 in the morning, drunk stone, like laughing in your face. You were just as kind
No,
as ever.
it's fantastic.
when
Fest is fun.
yeah, it was a time. If anybody has listened this far, please tell them where they can find you on all your social medias.
Yeah, just TikTok, 3C Films, or YouTube 3C Films. I tried to cover most just major entertainment things that interest me. That includes Five Nights at Freddy's. A lot of horror. I'm a big horror guy, but I'll do your Marvel, I'll do Disney stuff. So you can find me there. It was a real pleasure, and thank you guys for inviting me. I like both your guys' content a lot, so it means a lot to have you guys invite me on.
Thank you, man. And final question: what's your favorite horror movie of the year so far?
Ooh,
So far of the year, you know what?
Or just anything
Bring
you
Her
like?
Back. I really
Yes.
like Bring
Yeah.
Her
ooh,
Back. I did
So
not.
did
I
I.
think
take
that did not get enough buzz when it came out.
Yeah.
I feel like it just kind of came and went for some people. I enjoyed Weapons, but I wasn't as high on it like a lot of people.
Same. Yep.
Yeah,
I thought Weapons
are
was
you as
like
high
it was
on
good. Like it was fine.
yeah.
are you as high on Sinners as everyone else?
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess I'm not considering that one as much of a horror movie, but I mean, it does. Of course, it has horror elements on it. But yeah, that was right now like my three favorite movies: Sinners, one battle after another, and I got to see Marty Supreme, and now I'm battling between those three as my favorite of the year overall.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Bring Her Back, just in a sentence, like we were talking about, like the use of auditory jump scares and people can't create atmosphere. To me, that's a movie that was all atmosphere. Like
They're
it just,
so good at that.
yes,
Directors, they're so good. They're like the
yeah,
knife scene with the melon and just the eerie feeling from the what is it, the caretaker nanny, whatever you want to call her. I forget her name. But no, I agree. They do such a good job of creating the atmosphere.
yeah, love it.
I said one more I got to ask you about because me and Dan are divided on this, and I know that it was very divisive, and I know people either hated it or they loved it. Dan's in the not so much enjoying it. I enjoyed it a little bit more. What do you think about 28 Years Later?
Okay, I actually dug it. I really like the direction it went in. I guess I get the people who came out disappointed, because like it was like the zombie movie that almost changed modern zombie movies. That first one, and then that second movie, I think it's just more or less like I said, a straightforward, just kind of by the numbers. But I like what 28 Years Later did in the sense of like you went in expecting the zombie, and then you got more of a profound story on life and where it went. Like I don't know, I actually just really like the direction. Were you not so hot on it, Dan?
No, I really wasn't. And I think I'm one of the people that I don't know many people that I really like 28 Weeks Later. I think it's a really good movie about like
Oh,
I like the way it shows how sort of like the government and like a country would actually react in real life. I think it's very realistic in terms of
okay,
how they
yeah,
would
that
treat
part is real.
people and how they would
Yeah,
they would not care about collateral damage, and like I enjoyed that aspect of it. But it didn't really work for me, and I loved the first half of the movie. I was like so on board. As soon as they got back, like once the father and son came back, and it kind of veered off and became something else, and it just didn't quite work for me. But I do feel
yeah.
they're hanging out the next movie to dry. They're not marketing it.
I don't like the look of that one, if I'm being honest with you. I really like
I don't
20
think they
this
do
one.
either. Like
But
they're not
from
marketing
what
it.
I've been seeing so far, I'm just like, I don't know if I like this direction. I'll agree. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the ending, and I had to be one of those people to do my research to figure out what just happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, interesting in concept, I guess, but it's not something that I'm like gonna be so excited about with this second movie. To me, it's a coming of age story with zombies, and I love coming of age stories.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope everybody go ahead and I try to do good segues, but just come and check out 3C
Oh, thank you.
content wherever you post
Appreciate
it. No,
Yeah.
that was great. Guys, next week we're going to talk about Avatar Fire and Ash. That'll be interesting to talk about with me and Dan, and hopefully Connor will be joining us then too. But until then, thank you 3C. Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank
Follow
you,
him
guys.
everywhere. And until next week, go outside, sit on a park bench, touch some grass, call up your friends, watch a good movie, and we'll see you then. Peace out, everybody.